My friends, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be sharing with you a ton of winter DIYs. These are great for after Christmas decorating. So these will give you some inspiration and decorating ideas for after Christmas. Once you take down all your Christmas decor, you can use these to decorate your home. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and make sure you leave me down a comment letting me know which one was your favorite. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm super excited to be bringing you not only some winter mini tier, it could be tier tray DIYs, but also a tray DIY. I am going to make this a tray out of this round that I picked up at Dollarama. It was a package of 5 of them. I think they were around $2. And then I had this little pillar candle holder that came from Dollar Tree. I was going to use some Gorilla Glue to glue this on, but it had dried out, so I am just going to do some hot glue. I would recommend that you do use some sort of a stronger glue as well as hot glue, just to keep this in place more solidly. And then I had these beads, they're wooden beads from Dollarama, and I just try and pick the ones that are approximately the same size and just glued them all around this circle. I just love the look that this gives, and I think it gives the tray so much character. I love tray decorating, especially tier trays, but I wanted to add some more trays to my decor, and I thought this one would be perfect to sit on a coffee table or even on a fireplace. I am going to be completely redecorating my home once all the Christmas decor goes away, and I'm already trying to think ahead of all the pieces that I will need to DIY for that decor. I would love to know, do you have a winter decor that you put out, or do you just put out your regular decor? I like to add a lot of greenery, lavenders, kind of a soft greens into my winter decor before I brighten it up with even more yellows and more color for the spring. So a lot of, like I said, even whites I like to use during this decor, during winter decor. But this year I am finding that I am gravitating towards more of a black and white look with a touch of greenery too. So that is what I'm going to be doing with this tray. I am spray painting it with a black chalk paint for that black and white look that I'm going for, because I'm going to be adding lots of decor to it that's white, and then I'm going to also be decorating with some greenery. So here it is all done. I think it turned out very nice and I love it, and I can't wait to use it in my decor. For my next DIY, I had these 3 scrap pieces of wood, but you can totally use Jenga blocks too if you don't have scrap pieces of wood. I always have scrap wood laying around, and I'm just going to glue them together. I'm creating a very thick book stack for the tray, so I want it to be nice and small, and I'm adding this it's almost like a duck egg blue chalk paint to this, and I'm going to be wrapping also some nautical jute rope to it as well. I just love this look. Again, like I said, it's almost not necessarily well, it's not lavender color, but it does remind me of that muted green blue color, I guess. So I wanted to add this to the decor as well. And I'm going to just write on it with some, actually I was going to use a marker but it wasn't showing, so Then I wanted to use the chalk marker, but that wasn't showing either. So I took a very thin paintbrush and just wrote warm winter wishes. And that was kind of a theme throughout these DIYs with those words. Next one, I'm using again scrap pieces of wood, but you could also use, if you at Dollar Tree, those little house signs that they have. Those would look really cute as well. We don't have any of those at our Dollar Tree, so this is why I just went ahead and cut some pieces of wood into little houses. So I'm just touching up the parts that the saw kind of strip the paint off of them. And then once that is done, I'm going to be wrapping that same jute rope just on top of them to create some more texture to these houses. You could also hot glue this rope to it so it doesn't move, but I'm just tying a knot and wedging the loose pieces underneath. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you stopped by. I hope that you press the subscribe button and a notification bell to stick around and see what all the DIYs that are coming your way. I had just finished Christmas DIYs last week and I moved on to some winter DIYs. Now this will be my last DIY making video for this year. I have a couple mega videos coming up as well as a Christmas message next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It's kind of a best of the best videos that are coming up, and I'm excited for what the New Year's is bringing, so make sure that notification bell is on so you don't miss out any of those uploads. So once I had those ropes on the way I wanted to, I took my water-based marker and just wrote out Home Sweet Home. Then I had this little star that came from the little wood ornament packages from Dollar Tree, and then I painted it just black with some acrylic paint and hot glued this to the top. And I think this is so cute, and I'm going to be using it in my tier tray decor, and I'm looking forward to the way it's going to look because I think it's going to look really, really nice. This one was a complete trash to treasure project. I had a piece of birch that fell off because we had some pretty high winds in these couple of days. So I had just cut it up into 3 pieces, and using that same jute rope, I had wrapped it around these just to create a bit of like a log stack. And I think that's perfect for winter decor because, you know, warm winter nights, you need a fire. Logs create fire. So I thought this was really, really cute. And I think it's going to look great on a tray. This is one of those simple and free DIYs that I absolutely love to make. For next one, I'm using that same circle. With circle, I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger than a half. And then once I cut it, just using an X-Acto knife, I am going to paint it with a white chalk paint. But I'm not going to paint the whole piece because I'm going to be covering it with some of that buffalo check fabric that came from Dollar Tree. Once the piece is dry, I am just going to trace where I want it cut, and I'm using my rotary cutter to cut the fabric and the pencil to mark it off. So making sure that I have the right side on, I'm just going to glue this on, creating a bit of a pocket. And then I'm going to just trim any excess glue or straighten out the fabric so that way it's as straight as it can be. I should have really done this before I glued it on, but I didn't realize how crooked it was on the other side. And then I'm just filling it a little scratch that I made by removing the glue with some more paint. And I'm going to take the really thin marker at first, but then I decided that I was going to use my other water-based marker that I have and just write memories are made here. And then I'm going to add some greenery to this. And now the nice thing about this is that you can switch out the greenery for the season. So right now I'm just going to add some green, I want to say this is boxwood, but I'm not. To me it looks like oregano leaves, but I'm not sure what it's called, but it did come from Dollarama. But you can totally change it out for any season. This is another Trash to Treasure DIY. These are lids from Bath and Body Works candles, and they are from their Christmas winter collection, and they have, as you can see, just different snowflakes on them. And I'm going to paint them white with that white chalk paint, and then once they are completely dry, I'm going to take some of that acrylic paint and dry brush just over top of the raised snowflakes. And I'm going to be doing this very gently, not pressing the paint on, like the paintbrush onto it, just like I said, brushing it very, very gently over the raised design. I think these turned out super nice. I did have to switch to a thinner brush for some of the smaller snowflakes, but I think these are going to be great fillers on the tray. And the last DIY that I'm going to be making for today, I had one of these tiles left over. I've used it several times already. I think I had bought like 8 of them or something like that, and just using my water-based marker, I'm going to write warm winter wishes and add some snowflakes to this. Very simple sign, but I think a sign that's going to look absolutely great on a tier tray or just a regular tray. Hi guys, and welcome to another wintry DIY video. This will be the last one for this season, and so let's get started. I am going to be making some of these cones. I had made these cones out of paper. I went to Dollar Tree to see if they had any foam cones, but they didn't, and Michael's, they were so expensive, so decided to make some myself. I am wrapping the thick yarn that I had picked up last year for a different project, and I picked it up at Dollarama, and I just wrap it around, and this gave it a really nice wintry look, in my opinion.
On, and I'm wearing my worn out jeans. What could go wrong? Sipping on a beer, sing along to our favorite songs.
This was very easy to wrap around. It worked really well, and because the yarn is so thick, it took no time to do. For my next one, I am using a leftover blanket piece from, again, a different project. And this one was a little bit more complicated, but still wasn't that hard to do. The most complicated part was having sharp enough scissors to cut the blanket. I don't know about you guys, but I struggle with finding scissors that are sharp. They all start off sharp, and then 2-3 cuts later they go so dull. Let me know down in the comments if you have any suggestions where I can buy a good pair of scissors. I have tried different places, from dollar stores to more textile stores, but no luck so far.
You know I want you close, maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be the girl that I'll end up calling home. Can't get enough of this, being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. I couldn't let you go now when you're looking like that. Can't get enough of this, being with you is a never-ending sunshine. Never-ending sunshine. You know I want you close, maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be the girl that I'll end up calling.
If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja and this is my DIY channel. I happen to have a home channel where I showcase all these DIYs in my decor, as well as do a lot of cleaning videos. And I also have a cooking channel, which is self-explanatory. I share recipes and what's for dinners over on that channel. All the channels will be linked in the description box, as well as a link to my blog and my Instagram page, where I post tons of everyday happenings, glimpse to upcoming projects. So if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you head on over and follow me there too, so that way you can see what's coming up and what's happening.
You got your high heels on, and I'm wearing my...
For the smallest cone, I have used a duster from Dollar Tree. I had purchased several of these for a wreath that I was making, which I will link that video down below for you to see.
You can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. A never-ending sunshine. You know I want you close. Maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know.
For my next project, I am using this old sweater. I was going to donate it, but it had some stains that weren't coming out, and I just felt awkward donating it, so I decided to repurpose it.
How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. Never-ending sunshine. You know I want you close. Maybe hold your hand a little while.
When you are cutting off the sleeves and the neck, make sure you leave yourself enough lip for hot gluing, because as you all know, I don't know how to sew, so I always resort to hot gluing.
You, when I'm with you. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. You got your high heels on, and I'm wearing my worn-out jeans. What could go wrong? Sipping on a beer, sing along to our favorite songs. All I want is you. You make my world spin round and round. Sometimes I don't know what to do, 'cause my heart starts racing when I'm with you. You. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. A never-ending
I think this pillow looks so nice and cozy and perfect for my winter decor. The last project, I am using this glass vase that I have tons of these around the house, and I will be using a sleeve that I had cut off from the sweater as part of it. This is a super easy DIY, and I love the way it turned out.
When I'm with you. Like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. You got your high heels on.
I wanted to add some embellishment, so I was kind of trying to figure out whether to use the white one or the blue button. I like this blue button because it has almost like an age look to the holes, and being that the holes are so much bigger, it was easier to attach it. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be sharing 3 very easy wintry DIYs. For the first one, I'm using this wreath form as well as these dusters that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and the wreath form is from Dollar Tree as well. And I picked up several of them because I will be creating 2 of them. And then I have leftover buffalo check ribbon from Michaels. And then of course you're going to need some hot glue. All of these DIYs are super easy to make, and they are very inexpensive, and most of the supply for them had come from Dollar Tree. So the very first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to hot glue these dusters onto the wreath, and they are I'm hot gluing them with the fuzzy side to be the front. These DIYs could also be used in your Christmas decor, but they can also be left around for after Christmas. I'm actually planning on using these wreaths on my door after Christmas for the month of January and February. So now that it's all finished, I'm just going to measure out how much ribbon I need, and right there where it's overlapping, I'm going to add the ribbon to that thick side. I would like to say if this is your first time stopping by, my name is Sonja and this is my DIY channel. On this channel you will find tons of seasonal DIYs as well as any other type of home decor DIYs. I do furniture makeovers, trash to treasures makeovers, upcycling, as well as dollar store DIYs. So if this is something that interests you, I would love it if you consider pressing that subscribe button and a notification bell. For my next project, I had thrifted these candles. They are battery operated candles for $2.99. It was a little bag that came with 3 candles, some potpourri, and some actual candle, real candle. I really just needed these 3 candles for this project that I had in mind. I was originally going to buy actual candles at a dollar store, but this seemed to be a much better deal. They were a little bit dirty, so I just give them a little bit of cleaning. I've actually gotten this piece of birch wrapping paper from a friend. She had bought a big roll, so I just bought a little piece off of her. And I just measure out the length of the candle, the longest candle, that way it's the easiest for me, and I just cut it lengthwise, and then I will measure also the width of the candle and cut those out as well. For gluing these pieces of wrapping paper onto a candle, I am using tacky glue, and I got that tacky glue at Dollar Tree. And I do apply a generous amount with a foam brush. This is such an easy DIY and gives these candles a brand new look, and I love the birch look, and I love to decorate with it during the winter months. And now I'm actually going to be able to use this candle since it is battery operated. If it was a real candle, I wouldn't be able to burn it. I also would like to mention that besides this DIY channel, I also have 2 other channels, a decor and cleaning channel as well as a cooking channel. The links will be down below. And also don't forget to check out my Instagram account where I post all my daily doings, upcoming projects, and it's just a really fun place to connect with you guys. I also have a blog, and all the links for everything that I have will be in the description box. Next project, I am using a leftover pieces of craft materials that I had from other projects. So the piece of foam board had come from Dollar Tree, and these wooden sticks, they're actually garden stakes, and I picked those up at Dollarama, and I had 2 left. So I thought I use this up so that way I don't have to go out and buy more materials, and I can start fresh in January with new materials. So I measured out the sticks and where I wanted to cut them, and I just use some actually wire cutters to cut the sticks. I find that this works the best. It doesn't crush the sticks as much. I'm sure you could use a little saw to do this as well. And once I have them cut to size, I end up staining them. Now for staining, I am using a different kind of technique. I had picked up this antiquing medium. I picked it up at a dollar store. It's called My Dollar Store and More. and it's supposed to turn any acrylic paint into a stain. So I'm using brown, and then I end up adding white as well to it just to achieve the stain look that I wanted. I am also going to be using a white chalk marker that came from Dollar Tree for this project, and some hot glue. Once my pieces were stained and had some chance to dry, I just measure out how much of this foam board I actually need. Because I had a certain size of these garden stakes, it was easier to make sure I have those long enough instead of having the foam board. Instead of trying to make the foam board work, I made the sticks work. So once I measured it, I just cut it to size, and then I end up writing out my words that I wanted on this because I am making a sign. Now, I wasn't quite happy with the way this looked. I felt that the snow didn't really fit in, so I ended up flipping it over and just writing it out again on the other side. I think that looks much better. And now I continue on and just hot glue the little sticks to it to frame the piece of foam. There was a little bit of foam sticking out on two sides, so I just give that a trim with a craft knife. And then the last thing that I do is I hot glue a piece of rope to it. Now you don't have to do that, you can just lean the sign up against anything, but I thought in case if I wanted to hang it up, I'm going to hot glue that rope to it, and that's it. Guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sonja, and today's DIY video is all about high-end look, and this time it's not cheap, it's free. I'm going to be using all the materials to create these DIYs that I had on hand. They were either leftover scraps of wood, leftover pieces of DIY materials that I used for a different project, or just things that were meant for trash and I had salvaged to use in DIYs. So let's get started. For this first DIY, I'm using this scrap of wood that I had, and I'm going to be painting it with white chalk paint, and I'm going to be recreating this sign. This sign came from Farm Girl Inc. I found it online and it was $198 Canadian. Mine is a touch smaller, and the cost for this is $0. Like I said, I had this piece of wood on hand already. I had the paint on hand already, and all the rest is just an antiquing wax that I had on hand, as well as a black marker. And that's all that I used to create this sign. So I'm going to give this sign one coat of chalk paint. That was enough coverage to cover the whole piece of wood. And once it's dried, I took a long ruler and just used it just so that way I had somewhat of a straight line, and a brush that I dipped into any Sloan antiquing wax and just brushed the edge off. This gave me a nice framed look without actually adding pieces of wood or anything like that. I did make a little boo-boo there, so I just covered it up again with some paint. So once that dried, I took a pencil and just wrote out the word, and then I went over it with a permanent marker. Also would like to mention that today's video is part of a collaboration that is hosted by Yanni and Diane from Deco Easy, as well as Kiki from Kiki's DIY. I will have both of their channels linked down below, as well as the playlist for you to check out everybody else's creations for this collaboration. I am going over this twice. The second time I am just making the lines that are going downwards thicker, and I always do this because I absolutely love the way this looks. I think this sign is great for winter decor, but it's also pretty amazing all year round. For my next DIY, I'm using this little crate because I'm going to be recreating this decorative wood entry table box from Bath Body and Beyond. That's $96.99. I had this box from actually a liquor store. Somebody had gifted me a vintage wine, and it came inside this box, and I kept it and reused it already once because it was just a pine color and I had distressed it, but I didn't want that distressed look for this, so I ended up covering it up with just white paint, same one by Annie Sloan. Once I had painted it, I let it dry, and then I used that same permanent marker just to do the writing. This is again free because I had this box on hand, had the paint on hand, and had the marker on hand. And then I also will be sharing, I'm going to do something different when it comes to the vases that I'm putting it, but I'm going to let you know what other things you can do. And I'm using the same technique for writing as the previous sign. So I'm using these bottles that I previously made. They are just milk bottles because I thought that they were going to look good. But if you wanted to exactly replicate, I would use these wide mouth mason jars and paint them with white chalk paint and just use raffia to tie them up. I think either look is great, but this just gives you a couple different options. I had this greenery on hand. I got it several years ago and I just use it for different decorating elements. I think I love using this type of greenery for my winter decor as well as going into spring. I just love the way that looks, and I think this piece is going to be a great addition to my winter decorating after Christmas. Last dupe that I'm going to be recreating are these fun snowmen from Bath and Bath and Beyond. For $40.49. Mine were free again. I had these scraps, pieces of wood. Actually, my mother-in-law was throwing them out, so I just kept them because I knew I was going to find ways to use them. I cut them into 3 different sizes, and I just angled the top because that's where the hat's gonna be, and I just wanted it to be on a little angle, and I'm just giving them a little sanding just to sand down the roughness from the cut. Once that was done, I'm using that same white acrylic paint, chalk paint from Annie Sloan, and giving them one coat of paint. And I'm painting the sides, the tops, and the front. I'm not gonna bother painting the back. I just want to say that if you're stopping by from the playlist, or if this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and I do these type of DIYs along with dollar store DIYs on this channel. So I would love it if you considered subscribing and pressing that notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. Once these pieces had a chance to dry, I'm going to move on to figure out how I'm going to actually assemble them. I was debating whether I should just go in a straight line or do it exactly as the picture, as the product online. So I did decide to actually do them a little bit staggered. And then once I had that figured out, I moved on to gluing some popsicle sticks for the bottom of the hats, as well as decorating, painting the hat and doing the nose and the eyes. I did not glue them together until all that was done first. When I was done painting the hat, I went on to adding the letters, but I made my first one look good on the longest one size-wise, but then I realized I didn't leave enough room if I wanted to continue with this height of the letter on the shorter ones for the face. So my two middle ones don't have a face. I think they still ended up looking good. It's just that would be the difference between mine and the store-bought one. And as you can see, I'm tracing them out with a marker, and then I'm just filling in the paint, filling in with the paint. After I filled that in with the black paint, I also went in after it had a little bit of time to dry and added a little bit of a white paint just so it looks like there's snow dripping down the letters. For the nose, I just used orange acrylic paint and a very, very thin brush. And to finish the hats off, I went ahead and added some snowflake stickers that I had on hand for a couple of years now. I think I got these at Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure it was from Dollar Tree. And now it's time to assemble the snowman, and I'm just using hot glue to glue the pieces on and overlapping, as you can see. So some are higher, some are lower, and I'm just using an actual Jenga block to prop them up for until the glue dries. Well, I hope you had enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought of my dupes. Let me know which one was your favorite, and I will don't forget to check out the playlist link down below, as well as the hostess's channel, Yanni, Diane, and Kiki's channels, which are linked down below as well. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in a couple days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I am super excited to be bringing you some of my outdoor winter decor DIYs. Here in Ontario, Canada, we have winter probably till March, and I always found, this is like the first time I'm doing this, but I've always found that the time between like right after New Year's until spring, my front porch is just so blah and uninviting. And because winter's so long, I just never really felt like I wanted to do anything to make it more inviting. Well, I've decided to change that. So I'm going to be sprucing up my winter front porch, which will be a video on Saturday on my home channel if you want to check that out. But I needed some supplies. So I had few things, not much, which I'm going to share with you in a little bit. But I wanted to create just a couple things, nothing over the top. I'm still going to keep some of my planters because I do think they're very wintry, especially since I will be removing some of the red accents that were on my front porch. But I wanted to bring in more of that snowy, let it snow, snowball fight type of feeling, winter sports, things like that into the decor for the front porch until probably mid-February, and then I will just add several accents for Valentine's Day. Nothing overboard because I don't do too much for Valentine's. And speaking of Valentine's, if you missed what was it, Tuesday's video, I shared some of my favorite rustic Valentine decor DIYs that I've created. I prefer more on the rustic side of Valentine's decor rather than the bright pink and bright red. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what goes with my home decor. So for this home decor DIY video, so many V's and W's here. I'm struggling. I am going to be, actually I'm just thinking to myself, there's no W's, it's just V's that I struggle with. Sometimes I say we instead of V. It's an Eastern European thing. So anyways, my decor I want is to be lots of white with some of that rustic woodsy look to it. So I have 5 that I'm going to be making. So without further ado, let's get started. So before I get started, I just wanted to show you this big welcome sign, and if you've been following along, you might have seen it on my front porch. So I typically use this for the summer and for fall, but I thought I'm going to do something on the other side, kind of save on space and on materials. I did this with my Easter and my Halloween sign. So, and I don't think I did anything, I don't think there's anything on the other side of my Let It Snow sign. But anyways, my Let It Snow sign is red, which is, I use it through Christmas, but I want to kind of remove all those red elements. So I'm going to create something on here. So I just wanted to show you the size of it, because once I turn the camera on, you're not going to see a full size of it. And then also, speaking of full size items, so recently I did a trip to IKEA. Well, it was probably in summertime, and I picked up a whole bunch of these, what are these called? I don't know what these are called. If I remember, I will let you know. I'm sure you guys know what these are called, but anyways, these blank ones, and these are like under $5, so I'm going to be using that one for some of the supplies. And then I have this bin that I use as a, I usually put a Christmas tree. This actually came last year with one of those Dr. Seuss trees. No, it's a Dr. Seuss, or no, it's not Dr. Seuss. Well, Grinch trees. Grinch trees that are kind of hang down. But I really like the pot, so I use it. I kept it and using it. So I'm going to utilize the other side for this. And then another item, just because these are big items and it's easier for me just to show them to you like this. This is a canvas drop cloth. I picked these up at Dollarama for $4. Not always do they have them. Typically I do find that even last year I found it in January that they had some. So I picked up actually 2 bags, and out of one of these drop cloths, I made, I think I made like 4 or 5 pillows, and I did like mini pillows for my tier tray. So this does go a long way. I know that Home Depot carries them. They're approximately, when you calculate everything, around the same price. Yeah, so this one is, just so for your reference, for $4 I get, and of course it does not say what size it is. I wish I could tell you. Oh, 4 by 5 or 1.2 meters by 1.5 meters. So that's, and it's like a true drop cloth, and I really like to use it. It's 60% cotton and 40% polyester, if you guys need to know for your sublimation or anything like that. So anyways, so I'm going to be using that. And now we're going to get started. So I'm starting off with my home sign, and I am just calculating the space between the letters. For the letters, not between the letters, just so that way they're somewhat of an even size. And then I just marked it off with the pencil where each square or rectangle is. And then I use the pencil to also write out the letters. That way I can just fill them in with some acrylic paint. This way you can adjust the size or the design as you wish. It's easily erased, and you don't have to worry about messing it up and having to sand the wood down because you did it with the paint. I always try, if I can, to do it with a pencil before I do, especially when I'm doing writing, simply because I do tend to sometimes even make spelling mistakes, and this way I can fix them. Once the paint, white acrylic paint, was on, as you saw, I only did HME because I want to put this wreath in the middle. This is actually a really neat idea because you can change out these wreaths for different seasons if you want to make some. And this twine wreath or wood wreath came from Dollar Tree, and I will be embellishing it in just a little bit. Here I'm just making sure that my little hook will be right in the middle of the board for hanging. Once I figured out the height, I also wanted to figure out the middle part. And then I'm just going to screw this in with my hand. I did use a rag to turn it just because it was hurting my hand a little bit, just because the way it was pointy. So once I had this all figured out, I moved on to the wreath, and I had this little garland that I picked up at a Dollarama. So I just wrapped it around on top and added a little bit of rope. I am using the little clamps to hold it in place, and I think this looks really great, especially on my front porch. And don't forget to head on over to my home channel for my front porch decor, which will be live on Saturday, so tomorrow. For my next one, I am, as I already mentioned, I was using that pot, and then I also cut out the snowballs on the white vinyl, and I weeded it out, and then I transferred it on to the pot. This was such a simple and easy DIY. If you don't have a Cricut, you could always just write it with some chalk, white chalk marker, or use some of those stencils from Dollar Tree. I don't think they had snowballs on them, but they did have Let It Snow, which I think would look good as well. And once I had this all transferred on, I will show you what it looks like on my front porch.
Not long ago you got hurt, someone did you wrong. I can see it in your eyes, it's like your fire is gone. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you wanna talk, I'm right here, not gonna leave your side. Just feel free to open up when the moment's right. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you wanna go out, we can go out. You can hide away just for one night. But if you wanna cry, just let it out. I'm by your side now.
For next one, I'm going to be creating a pillowcase. Now, I'm trying in this video to show you DIYs that I use my Cricut machine, but I'm also showing you how you can just simply write things out if you take your time and have patience with it. Use ideas from Pinterest on what your letters should look like. I always do, and then just use a pencil first so you can fix any mistakes. So I am making this pillowcase as always with the hot glue gun, and I thought I cut a pretty straight line, but apparently not. So I'm just straightening it out somewhat. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to have the glue line to be straight, so that's what's gonna make your pillow straight. So once the glue has dried, I did turn it the right side in, and then I'm going to just add a little cardboard underneath because I am using a permanent marker after the pencil, and I just didn't want any of it to transfer to the bottom. So I'm just going to write Let It Snow and draw on some snowflakes, but I'm doing my lettering first with a pencil just in case. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you pressed the watch button. I hope you are enjoying this video so far. And if you are, I would love it if you considered subscribing and pressing the notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. I would love to have you join my YouTube family. So once I was happy with the way things looked with the pencil, I went over it with a permanent marker, and now I'm going just over, and any lines that are going downwards, I am thickening them up. And then I'm going to draw on some snowflakes. I was looking for a stencil to do this, but I could not find one for the life of me. Another thing that I couldn't find was the little square for my Cricut where that you press to make sure that vinyl you can weed out the vinyl easily. I could not find it for the life of me. I was cleaning out my craft room, and I'm worried that I might have thrown it out. I just love the way this pillowcase turned out. So simple, so easy to make, and it looks great on my front porch. Now we're going to move on to another Cricut project, and you can see me using a Mod Podging tool to do this. This is where things started to go wrong. So I wasn't sure how to do this exactly. I've done it before, but I could not remember exactly. So I was going to weed it out, but then I remembered that I actually need the solid piece and not the insides, which is what you usually need, because I was going to use this as a stencil. So I did apply my transfer tape on top of this and then weeded things out from there, which was fine. It went on smooth, and then my camera died, so I did end up switching cameras, but I did not realize that my memory ran out, and the camera that I was using doesn't ever let me know that there's no more memory. The other one beeps whenever the recording stops, so I know that it stopped, but this one didn't. So I went on and I finished this DIY as well as another one without recording it, but I wanted to show you how it turned out. So I had transferred the vinyl onto the mat, and then I used white acrylic paint for snowflakes and black acrylic paint for letters, and then I just added a little bit of white onto the edges, and I just dabbed the paint on. This was fairly easy once I had it all, the vinyl all ready to go. Now the next one that I did was this wreath. Now you're in luck because I already did this DIY last year. I was just creating a second one, so I will link that video up in a corner so you can see a full tutorial for that. And I will also link another video. I did actually make several videos of these mats, so I will try and link up all of them so that way you can see different ways that I made these mats. Well, I hope you had enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and if you're returning to my channel, thank you so much for your continuing support. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.